Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm going to be teaching English at the high school freshman level. We are going to be going over protagonist versus antagonist. My objectives are that students will distinguish the characters of a protagonist and antagonist, and then students will also identify which of the two elements, protagonist or antagonist, the characters belong to. This falls under the standard of Reading Strategies for Literature 6-12 Key Ideas and Details, number 3. Analyze how complex characters develop over the course of a text, interact with other characters, and advance the plot or develop the theme. Stepping into teacher mode now. Good evening, class. We're going to start today by discussing characters. For our activity in the beginning, I want you guys to do a journal entry over your favorite character. I want to know who they are, what they do, and why they're your favorite character, which I know might be hard to pick one because we all love reading so much. It can be over a movie, though. But if you can't pick one, narrow it down to 2, and I want you guys to compare and contrast. Stepping out of teacher mode, you guys will have about 5 minutes to do that. Since we don't have a lot of time, I won't make you guys do that, but we are going to discuss here in a little bit. So I'll give you guys a minute to think about who you'd pick and if you can answer those questions for me. You guys ready? Yeah. Okay. Stepping back in. Who would like to share who their favorite character is? Maida.
Harry Potter.
Why?
Why? Because he is a heroine, so he's the good guy.
I like that term. No, good guy. We'll be using that here in a minute. Keep going.
He also, there's magic, and he's very good at that, and I kind of just like the whole feeling that there's possibly magic out there.
Okay, good. DJ, did you have one for us?
Yeah, my favorite character in like a movie or like a show would be like Jax Teller, and from Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
And the reason I like it is because he plays like a good guy and a bad guy, and like through all 7 seasons, like it's a conflict in him fighting the good and the bad in himself, and also trying to be like the villain, but he's a good person like himself.
That would be interesting to bring up at the end so we can determine if you think that he's a protagonist or antagonist. We'll come back to that one. Did anybody have 2? I'll give an example. I love Disney characters, and so my 2 would have to be either Ariel or Belle, which is very hard. I love Ariel because she's awesome, but Belle gives that superior feminine role that is good for students to look up to. So, does anybody have an idea as to why I wanted you guys to think about characters?
So we'll be talking about them?
Very good, but why are they important in the story?
Your whole story is like based off of them and their actions, or
Awesome, and we need to get to better know them. And so, today we're learning about characters and determining if they're protagonist or antagonist. This is important so you can better analyze the characters. You can learn about what motivates them, what actions they're doing, and just to understand who they are. If you don't understand the character, more than likely you're not going to want to get to know them, and it's not going to be as interesting for you. So, stepping into the actual lesson, can anybody tell me the definition of protagonist? That's okay. I'm passing out notes right now.
The good guy.
I'm going to take one and pass it on. Okay, stepping out of teacher mode. In these notes, you will see that there is bold lettering. That would be what is blank so the students can follow along and fill it out. But since you guys don't have a lot of prior knowledge about this, I left it filled in for you guys so you can follow along and kind of answer my questions. So, let's start again. Who can tell me the definition of a protagonist? Kristen.
The lead character in a story.
Very good. That is great and a perfect definition. If you guys would take the time and write your own definition beside it, that could help you out a lot better with making it stick to your memory. Okay. Now we're going to talk about critical attributes. Does anybody have an idea about what these 2 terms can mean? Anyone? What's critical mean? Important.
Yeah, important.
Very good. What are attributes?
Things that you like possess.
Yes, like characteristics. So these are very important characteristics that a protagonist has to have. So, can anybody think of one based off the definition?
Well, I know for like mine, Jax, he would have been, he was like a very like solid leader.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to write P for protagonist. What is one word that sticks out in that definition?
Good.
Very good. So they have to do admirable things. What's another word that could possibly stick out?
Lead.
Very good. They have to be the lead character. They cannot just be a secondary character or a main character. They have to be the lead. Such as Ariel, Sebastian. Very good character, but he is not the lead, so unfortunately he can't be the protagonist. Now, the last one that we have is a little bit tricky, but it is actually they have to solve the problem. They can do this with other characters, they can help them, but more than likely the problem solution is going to come from the protagonist. Now, what do you think that non-critical attributes would mean? The exact opposite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys think of any that might fall under the protagonist category? Age. Very good. Would it help if I wrote this in a different coloring for the... Going off of that.
I just have a real quick question. What model like of teaching are you doing?
Oh, I'm in the concept.
Concept, okay.
Sorry. Anything else? Going off age. Can anybody think of one?
Gender.
Very good. All right. Last one was a little bit tricky, but I came up with where they come from. Doesn't matter where you come from, you can be the protagonist of any story. Okay, let's move to antagonist. What do you guys think that definition would be? Very good. Sorry, stepping out of teacher mode. My notes were mixed up. Okay. The antagonist is a character who opposes the protagonist, the bad guy. Okay, so let's think of some critical attributes that the antagonist would have. Does anybody have an idea?
Against the protagonist? Like opposite?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Troublemaker.
That is another good one, yes. So, let's see. I have causes the problem. Would you say that falls under the category?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another thing with the antagonist is that they also have to be a main character. Note, they are not the lead. That is usually always for the protagonist. The antagonist, it's seen that sometimes they can be a lead if you're watching maybe a reversal of a movie, but more than likely they're only a main character. Okay, so let's move to some non-critical attributes. They're going to be the exact same as protagonist. Nothing changes there. Age doesn't matter, gender doesn't matter, where they are from does not matter. So now we are going to play a fun little game. Can I have you guys, would you like to get in groups of 2 or groups of 3?
3.
Okay. We're going to have someone that has to be designated for writing. You guys can discuss amongst yourself who you want. Pick a color, any color. Same for you guys. Okay. Stepping out of teacher mode. This is something that I came up with. If you don't have the funding for whiteboards, this is perfect because it erases right off and everything like that, and they're cheap. We all know that these cost, about like 30 cents, and you get 6 of them in there. So next, we're going to go, not erase pretty, we are going to come up with group names, because you know that's the best part of being in a competition. So
Alright,
come
what's
up
our
with something
name?
clever. On the spot, I know. I saw you guys had one.
We're Team Gryffindor.
Alright, can I put Team G since I read big?
Yep.
Flying purple people eaters.
Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Alright, awesome. We are going to do some examples of what can be protagonist and antagonist. First person to answer will get a point. There are possibilities for bonus points. People who win get candy. So, candy's at stake. This is serious. Number 1. Go ahead.
Do you want us to shout out the answers or raise
No.
our hand?
Sorry. I want you guys to write it on the board, and whoever can flip it up the fastest
Ready to flip.
is going to be the winner. But the trick is that you have to explain why they are what you chose. And I want you guys to flip the notes over. Flip your nose. Oh, no. Okay, ready? This one's going to be easy. Batman.
Protagonist.
I can't spell.
The flying purple people eaters.
I thought you had to explain why.
They do. They have to do that right now. If they can't get it, then it goes
I
to
thought
you
I had
guys.
to write it out.
Why?
Because he's the main
Alright,
character
my bad,
and
guys.
he solves all the problems and he's the hero and he's the lead.
Good job. Point goes to them.
Alright. We're comeback kids.
Alright. Now, since we did one, I'm erasing the notes on the board too. This is not erased pretty. I'm sorry. Alright. Who's ready? This is getting intense.
Yeah.
Another easy one. Harry Potter.
That.
You guys, explain why.
He's a protagonist because he's the lead character and he solves all the problems and he does admirable things.
Awesome. Can you explain one thing that he does since we have the critical attributes down?
He defeats Voldemort.
There you go. Team G, you guys are now tied. Alright. A little bit trickier. Lewis Lane. Do you guys know who that is?
Ooh.
Lift it up. Explain why.
She's the side character.
Yeah, she's not a bad character, she's a good character and she helps solve crimes with Superman.
Why for you guys?
Well, she's not the lead character, so she's not the protagonist.
Boom. Protagonist, you have to be the lead character. Like Sebastian. Great guy, but fortunately can't be the protagonist. Team G goes to you guys. Alright. We have another easy one. Voldemort. why?
Voldemort is the antagonist because he causes all the problems and he does not do admirable things. He's the opposite of Harry Potter.
Good job.
Bad man.
Alright, I'll throw out a bonus option. Because, you guys might need it. Just kidding. Okay. Who can tell me what a secondary character is with the definition? It can be your own words.
Like a supporting character.
Okay, tell me.
The secondary character is not the lead character, but they typically help the protagonist in their adventures.
Very good. They are necessary for the story, but they are not the lead. We will give you a bonus one. Yes.
So you're just at like your mark where she wants you to kind of like step out of teacher mode and then like
Okay.
talk about like what the rest of your lesson's gonna be, and then like you'll go back into teacher mode and then do your closure.
That went really fast. Okay. Okay. So stepping out of teacher mode. After that, your guys' assessment would be this. I have characters listed right here, and then you would check mark if they fit into here. And based off the critical and non-critical attributes that we wrote up top, you will be able to determine if they are protagonist or antagonist. There are a few tricky ones in here, like the secondary characters, just to keep their minds going and realize that not every character is protagonist or antagonist. I would do a few of them in class. I do an example of each in class, that way we could work through it and how I want you to do it step by step. And then, stepping back into teacher mode, let me get to my closure. Okay, guys, can anybody tell me why this was important? We went over it in the beginning. DJ.
It's important because, you know, like you got to know who the lead character is, what your story's based around, like
Right.
the
You
point of your
have to
story.
have a good understanding of the characters. That was very good. Okay. Also, what is the critical attributes for a protagonist? Who can list them off for me?
Admirable,
Good.
Lead character.
Good.
solves problems.
Good job. All right, now antagonist.
They oppose.
Good job.
They cause the problem, and they're main character.
Good job. Very good. Does anyone have any questions or anything that they're slightly confused about with this? All right, then your out-of-class assignment is going to be to work on which characters you'd like to be the protagonist and antagonist in your stories that you create at home. Sound good?